Thank you.
John, I think that while we have a responsibility to providing services to our citizens, we cannot afford to provide that. We can't afford to do that. And I think that you should hold the provincial government accountable for that in the next provincial election. It is their responsibility to assist those citizens in conserving energy with retrofits to their homes. There's just so much you can ask the municipality to shoulder. And that is not one of those. We're already shouldering ALC problems. We're shouldering the long-term care facility programs. We're shouldering geriatric programs. We're even moving into education. And I'm sorry, but we can't afford that.
Thank you.
This question is for Ed McConzie, Ted Callahan, John Rodriguez, and Derek Young.
Took me 2 years to get up here, so finally, bear with me. This is for Mr. Callahan, Ed, John, and Derek. My question is this. The homeless problem in Sudbury is the biggest problem so far that Sudbury has had. If you were elected mayor, what kind of plan would you have to help this problem while in office?
Mr. Young?
Thank you for your question. And again, this is something that I've raised in my platform under Vision for a Healthy and Safe Community. Having been involved as a director on the Downtown Sudbury Board, it is an issue that comes up often with issues around prostitution, vagrancy, and homelessness, and other various things that do happen within certain sections of our city. So I think it's important to have an understanding of the problem. And you know, another lesson from college was to understand the symptoms of the problem so that we can deal with the problem with a holistic approach. And you know, we need to look at having more affordable housing and support in place, and understand that they are real issues, and deal with the different stakeholders in those sectors to be able to come up with a holistic approach to dealing with the problem.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Well, thank you very much. In fact, that was one of the issues I was concerned about during the last election. And after election, what we did was we brought all those agencies that serve the homeless, and we put them under one umbrella, the Centre de Santé, and then council increased the allotment for the homeless. We increased it to $750,000. The solution to that is affordable housing. And when the federal and provincial government backed out of affordable housing, we, the municipality, could not afford to build affordable housing. We can participate with partners, and those partners are at the federal and provincial level. I notice the federal government has now come back in, the province has come in, we're building units on Copper Street. So hopefully we'll apply for more and get more of those. In the meantime, we do have a coordinated service for the homeless through the Centre de Santé.
Thank you. Mr. McConzie.
The answer is, it can be split up into two parts. Number one is, I've always been in favor of a public support of rent. The people need the money, or need the place, within reason. That doesn't mean somebody who's collecting welfare should be in a $1,000 a month suite. It just means that something should be provided for them that doesn't take away from their food or substances. The second part would be to cooperate with landlords, so that landlords have to register with the city. Because those two parts in place, first of all, not only would you have affordable housing for the people who really need it, but you would have an assurance that the landlords comply with the building codes and whatever other legislative authorities are governing. The landlords collect their rent from the city, whether it's paid to the city or not. So the landlords have a steady income. You pay whatever is determined that you're able to pay, and the city pays the landlord.
No, of course there's.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan.
The homeless issue, of course, has been an ongoing problem in our community ever since I've been on council. There has been a lot of work done related to homelessness in our community. As the current mayor identified, there is a central access point for the homeless in the community. And I know that the partners that are involved in this, they're very sincere. They come to council. They give updates. They give reports. They brought us a strategy back about 2 or 3 years ago, and this council adopted it wholeheartedly. And essentially, what we've done here at council is contribute portions of money that essentially was being provided by the federal government before the Skippy program, and we've been always contributing this approximately $650,000 to $700,000 on a year.
Thank you very much. Looking for Tammy and Lynn Gibson.
All right, my question is for Mr. Callahan, Young, and Rodriguez. But first, I'd like to thank the Coalition for Livable Sudbury for providing the local snacks to our hit and reusable dishes. My question has 2 parts. First, what do you see as the infrastructural barriers to the current local food system? And secondly, how will you ensure that the city leads by example by taking action to support local food initiatives?
Well, I believe that one of the key things that we did related to that is to come in with the topsoil bylaw, and I believe that that's going to protect the farmland in our community, prevent the stripping of property. The other area that we've been involved in is this council, I believe, is more open-minded and more understanding of what farming means to this community, especially to the outside municipalities. I think the farmers market, for example, is a good testament to what local food and food growing can do for our city. And so I think those are the areas. It's an area that I honestly don't fully understand. I'm not a farmer, and I'm a city boy, and so some of these issues that face me regarding the whole issue of growing food.
Thank you.
Is not the best.
Thank you for your question. I think, you know, if we look back a number of years ago, at one time there were over 700 farms in the city of Greater Sudbury, and we probably have a lot less farms now. So I think that it's important that we encourage the growth of local food, and that we do have that local produce available in many of our various different markets, grocery stores, and you know, one example that I could use is the Prince Edward County does an event called Taste of the County, and you know, they're a small community, about 20,000 people outside of Toronto, and what they did was they had looked at culinary tourism as a growth opportunity, and they were using all local food in all of the local restaurants and cafes, and not only did they use the local food, but you got a nice little education piece that came along with that. And I think it's important to continue to support events such as Market Square.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the question. Yes, one of the things this council did, which previous councils couldn't do, is have the courage to establish an agricultural reserve. And prior to that, people were just buying farms and scraping the topsoil off the farms, which meant you can't grow back soil, and they were lost forever. So one of the things we did was to protect agricultural land. It now has 13,000 acres within the reserve. We need to promote the consumption of locally grown produce. And I think the GSDC, our GSDC, can help, can engage in that with local farmers and all those who are promoting the consumption of locally grown food.
Good evening. My name is Tammy. This is for all the candidates, and my question is,
The City of Markham has quite a progressive municipal procurement policy in place regarding the purchasing of local food. Would the City of Greater Sudbury consider such a procurement policy to include local food in its purchases for meetings, etc., and its business? We'll start with Ted, I guess.
Sure. I'm not aware of the program in Markham. Of course, you could probably understand that we wouldn't be aware of that. But I'd be more than willing as mayor to look at that and to see the merits in that program and to listen to anyone that's interested in presenting that proposal and take it under consideration.
To be honest with you, I start off with, I come from a farm family. I had the privilege or the luxury of being a city kid during the week and a farm kid during the weekend. And my back still hurts from strawberries. But you don't really need a program. All you really need to do is things like the farmers market and encouragement to the local retailers to buy local. But when somebody goes into the store, they're going to look at two things. Number one is they're going to look at the price, and then they're going to look at the quality. And if they see that local producers, whether it be in somebody's backyard or in a farm, can produce a good quality product at a reasonable price, then you have the aesthetic or the social thing of buying locally. So you don't really need a program. All that does is get administrators involved, and you don't need that.
Thank you for your question. Thank you for my mic work. I get 40 seconds more now. We're going to give you like 40 seconds here. Thank you for the question, and I think it's definitely an idea that is worth pursuing. And if you look at what we've already done here in Sudbury with Co-op Boreal, where they're using all local food that is grown here in the Sudbury area, and you know, that's something that's being done at College Boreal, and I think it's something that, leading by example, that we could definitely start to do here, and encourage our catering contractors here at the just right here at City Hall to be able to use local food and using Co-op Boreal as an example.
Thank you very much. I have to be frank with you, I hadn't considered procurement as applied to food through the city. But when you said it, it struck me today at the Wellness Fair, we had Classic Catering providing meals for 500 people. And I would want to have our staff take a look at that and provide us with some options on that. So that's the best I can offer at this point in time. So not having all the ramifications of such a policy, I think it's best to have a study done on it and then get some option proposals.
Again, I think
to prioritize suppliers who publicly acknowledge God the Creator and supplier of these good things, and publicly give thanks in their promotions. And I think when it comes to this farmers market,